Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Live Dugout, and this Live Dugout, pretty interesting special one because at long last we've reached the last team that we have to make a playing 11 for. We've already made it for 9 of the 10 IPL teams. If you haven't seen those videos, go ahead in your spare time, check out what we think would be the best playing 11. And right now, the last team, but not the least, definitely not the least, Lucknow Super Giants, a team that have only been in existence for 2 years now, and in both of those 2 years have suffered the exact same fate, made it to the Eliminator, and then gotten eliminated.
I mean, also another common trend. It took two freakish performances from the opponents to knock them out. I mean, in RCB's case in 2022, it needed Rajat Patidar's excellent 100 to knock them out in at the Eden Gardens. If you look at it in the Eliminator of 2023, Mumbai versus LSG, it took something spectacular from Akash Madwal, 5 for 5 if I'm not mistaken. And LSG yet again had huffed and puffed their way into the knockouts, but unfortunately couldn't make it. This time around, I mean, you may say this is the last team. Why we are making this as the last team that we are focusing on? For one simple name and for one simple reason. It is KL Rahul. Now,
captain.
But what's that got to do with us doing SGS at the last?
I'll tell you why. Because you are also
like there had to be one team that we do right at the end.
But then we chose.
Did we?
No, I think it was
LSG.
just a case of us picking one team and then.
No, I'll tell you why.
Let's
Because
see how Siddharth orchestrated it.
now you are going to see KL Rahul in a new role. And what is that role going to be? He is going to play in the middle order so that he can make himself, he can at least vie for a spot in the T20 World Cup squad for India. Now remember, your openers in the T20 World Cup are settled. So KL Rahul doesn't get a position there. Now, it will be very interesting to see how KL Rahul bats in the middle order, because see, he's done well in ODIs, batting at number 5. Initially started out as an opener but then did well. But the shift from an opener in T20 to now coming to bat in the middle order, sure, he started out as a middle order bat. I mean, if you look at his centuries, both centuries that he's got against England and West Indies did come in the middle order. If you look at, not as opening, if memory serves me right. So, last year KL Rahul missed the entire majority of the IPL because
Second
of
half entirely.
because of the thigh injury that he sustained and he had to undergo surgery for it. That also ensured that he didn't play in the WTC also, and he was racing against time to be fit for the World Cup, which luckily he did. Asia Cup
and then World Cup.
Exactly. Now, before we do our normal premise of the playing 11s, I think Lucknow Super Giants, looking at the squad that they have got, and remember, they only bought 6 players in the IPL auction this time around.
And also,
there was a trading also that happened.
And also, if you're looking at those 6, I really only see one of those players potentially being a guaranteed starter.
And
we'll get to that player.
We'll get to that. But before we get to that also, there is one more major update that has come from the LSG camp, is that David Willey is not going to be part of the starting in the IPL for personal reasons.
Not much of a miss in that regard, in the sense that I
He's
don't
not
think
going to make it to the 11 to begin with.
He would not have, but whatever the personal reasons, hopefully Willie's back sooner rather than later.
Exactly. But now, before we go into the 11, let us focus on KL Rahul. Crucial IPL this is for him. Last year, that injury aside, previous year, he did score over 600 runs, but the strike rate was an issue. Can KL Rahul revive his T20 career if you look at, because he's the last among the players who's not in the scheme of things. Virat and Rohit came back suddenly in January. And we had mentioned after the World Cup that yes, if you get them back, India is not learning from their mistakes. Now, looking at the Indian squad and looking at KL Rahul, should he bat in the middle order, or for LSG's sake, what has worked, he's opened? Do you think he's committing harakiri by batting in the middle order?
See, I think I don't think it's a good idea personally. I don't. For the very simple fact that it reeks of trying to force your way in by trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Rahul's best times with the bat in the T20 format and IPL in particular have all come at the top of the order. Those 500, 600, 700 run seasons all came as an opener. He's just much better as an opener. There's no two ways about it. That's how it's always been. And now he's doing it purely because he wants a spot in the T20 World Cup. And I have to say this, T20s, ironically, maybe one of his weaker formats internationally. He's not really set the stage on fire. That IPL form is never translated. Now, on top of that, you're taking on an entirely new role or going back to an old role which was briefly your role just for this World Cup. Is there a guarantee that he's going to be, let's say, doing this come next year? I doubt it. What's even more interesting is that the competition for spots in that particular area are already so stiff. I mean, Jitesh is the de facto first choice for now. For now. You've got a Sanju Samson who's the backup. All eyes are going to be on Rishabh Pant. And now KL also wants to take a spot.
Don't rule out Ishan Kishan.
I will not rule out Ishan Kishan. I will not rule out Dhruv Jurel either.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. There is so much competition.
Those are names that continue to be relevant, and which is why KL Rahul is trying to, again, what he's trying to do over here is, again, get something which used to be his. It's not his anymore. It's not something that, earlier which he was guaranteed, let's say, that he could walk into the team and he would know what his role would be. Gone are those days now.
Yep.
We've seen him being removed from formats in the past, and this is one of those formats. He was lucky enough, let's say, to not undergo, let's say, the kind of comebacks, let's say, that some of the other players have been told to play certain matches and only then you can come back into the team. That wasn't the case with the KL Rahul. Let's not forget, he was made to walk into the team, and good for him that he repaid that faith with performances in both Tests and ODIs. This has, let's admit it, become his weakest format. Having said that, where have all his runs come? If he's been amongst the top run getters in the IPL season after season after season, always him and Shikhar Dhawan are the permanent features in the top 5.
Yep.
If he's averaging close to 50, I think he's averaging just about 50 in the IPL. It's his strike rate. As an opener, when you've got every right to be exploiting this first 6 overs, his strike rate, I think, is just a little over 130. Now, for somebody who as an opener has a strike rate of around 130, to then be shifting to the middle order, I think the average. See, this is the problem again with KL Rahul will be because he's used to taking his own time, playing his own way, and then the team plays accordingly. This now is a complete shift altogether. He is firstly not guaranteed runs anymore. He will be expected to play, let's say, 145, 150 now, so he needs to up the strike rate. And as a result of upping that strike rate, maybe the runs dry up as well. You don't know how KL Rahul performs in the middle order. So that's my concern. Leadership, not that much, because you've made 2 seasons back to back with roughly about the same squad. They of course have their core figured out, let's say, the Lucknow Super Giants. But this whole shift could really, swing the pendulum anyway for LSG. It may work, it may not work, but chances to begin with look bleak to me of it working out.
Because see, as Shane said, you're trying to force your way into this current situation, okay? And if you look at the names that he has said, how could you argue against the names who are there in the current Indian squad reckoning at this point in time? You can't argue for a Jitesh. You can't argue against a Sanju. You can't argue against a Nishan. You can't argue against a Dhruv Jurel. KL Rahul is way back in the pecking order if you have to look at it.
And also have to remember, he's not actually a full-time keeper. He's becoming a keeper to stake a claim.
And this is
now
where...
this again, let's not forget, in the Test series, there were 3 keepers named.
Yeah.
Remember why? It was also as a footnote mentioned that KL Rahul will not be keeping the wickets.
Correct.
Why? Because you wanted to keep him, let's say, in good health going forward in the long term, which is why you named 2 other keepers.
Yes.
Now, 2 months down the line, KL Rahul is willing to keep the wickets.
And this is where I was going to ask the second part of it. We all kind of disagree with the fact that he shouldn't bat in the middle order. But if you look at it, he is going to bat.
Yeah, of course.
Now, is he going to keep throughout the IPL?
He will have to. He will have to, Siddharth, because if he's not keeping the wickets in IPL, there is no way he's getting picked for the Indian team. In the Indian team, there is the vacancy you're talking about right now is a wicket-keeper bat. You don't need a batter only. As a batter, KL Rahul is not making the side. Exactly. He has to be keeping the wickets to be able to force his way into the Indian team.
Look at who are the batters that you have right now in the team. If you're going by order or what you saw in the T20 I's against Afghanistan, your openers, as things stand, Rohit, Jaiswal, Gill is a backup.
Yeah.
That means opening is out of the equation.
Yes.
Out of the equation.
Absolutely.
Middle order, you've got a Virat, you've got a Sky. You've got someone like a Tilak Verma, who's a backup.
Number 5 again.
India, I think Rinku. Rinku.
5, 6 again, I think Rinku.
Jitesh,
Rinku Hardik.
Those are the players. He's not replacing any of them as a pure batter. at number 6 or number 5, are you picking Rinku Singh or are you picking KL Rahul? Aankh band karke, it has to be Rinku Singh because you know he has that ability to finish games, something you've never seen from KL. So the only vacancy he has is that of the wicketkeeper bat. Again, is it going to work? I personally don't see it happening.
Because see, we are looking at KL Rahul and his fitness issues. Okay, why did he not want to keep in the England series? Because for spinners, it would have been tough on him.
Crouching and also longer lengths.
Longer lengths, and he lasted only one test. He couldn't play in 4. And now you are potentially wanting him to keep for 14 games, 16 if they make it to the playoffs, 16, 17.
16, 17.
On top of that, attritional 2 months, plus on the top of that, you want to go into the World T20 without any kind of break whatsoever. This is where, see, if KL Rahul keeps, then your team composition in the LSG camp might also go slightly awry because you've got 2 keepers in the team at this point in time.
You have 2 full-time keepers already, and a Quinton de Kock and a
Nicholas Pooran. But then if Rahul keeps and he's got a bat in the middle order, then there are problems in the LSG team composition.
That brings us to the next thing and brings us down to our mudda, our task at hand.
Exactly.
Figuring out the playing 11. Now, to be fair, there's not much to figure out. In fact, if you were naming an 11 with KL Rahul opening, there would be no problems whatsoever making this.
Yeah, exactly. But now
you're not. You're
exactly.
not.
In fact, when I started to make the 11, I was like, okay, I didn't have KL Rahul at the start. But then while I, was trying to fit in number 4, number 5, I realized, wait.
KL has to be
I'm used to putting in certain names here, but wait. I'll have to scratch this name out because KL Rahul plays here.
And he'll mostly bat at number 4. If
And
I'm
He'll
not
have to.
Five.
I think 4.
No, 4.
5.
4 means, listen, 4
See,
means
5 again, then you're moving Stoinis.
That's okay. The point is, I understand. Stoinis, you can still move him low down the order. But can you bat a KL? Can KL realistically bat at number 4 and say, listen, I have the ability to bat at 6? It has to be closer to that number. So for me, it has to be 5.
See, because if he bats at 4, he is
I
now a
have him
backup
at
to
4
Sky.
in my team.
Okay, let's start.
Okay.
Let's start.
So
who are your openers? One opener,
That's
I think,
Kyle
great in
Mayers.
itself by the
Kyle Mayers.
You're not playing QDK?
No. What's the point of playing 3 wicket keepers?
That's fine. I don't make him keep.
No, I will keep Mayers. for
Because
one
bowling?
Yes, power play bowling. And
Power
also
play bowling.
much better if you
Fielder.
look at it with the bat, aggressive, much better than QDK.
Also
QDK,
fielder.
yeah.
See, QDK again underwhelmed, and I know, by the way, QDK, things haven't looked good for him, for his franchise. I think in the SA20 as well, he got moved down the order. He wasn't opening. So things haven't gone his way, and he didn't get a lot of runs in the SA20. But even then, for the fact that he's a proven winner, he's a match winner.
But remember, even
has
last year, half the game he
IPL
didn't
winning
play.
experience. Kyle Mayers did the job very well. So I think it's QDK/Mayers for me.
Okay, but it depends.
Because of the 11 that I have, you don't necessarily need Mayers the bowler.
So Mayers used to only bowl 1 or 2 overs anyway.
Exactly. So again, it's 50-50. Can
Then
go with
it
either. But
really depends
since
on who is voting. So if you've picked
I have QDK
I'm
slash
going with
Mayers,
Mayers.
but
I'm
QDK
going with
was my
Mayers.
first
So
choice.
it has to be Mayers then.
Has to be.
Other
Okay.
opener, I think, has to be Padikkal then.
Padikkal.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
can't be anyone else.
See, what happens over here is because KL Rahul's moved down the
Yeah.
order, what's worked beautifully for them is that they've managed to attract somebody like a Padikkal that solves the problem both for Padikkal and because Padikkal, remember, where did he get all his runs for RCB as an opener? The time that he shifted to number 3, number
RR,
4,
yeah.
that's when his runs dried up.
But I also have to add that this year, I think in the SMAT, he was mostly batting 1 drop or 2 drop for
And
Karnataka,
his
and his numbers were okay.
Numbers don't make for a good
And-
reading. I have his numbers.
Yeah.
Scored all about 119 runs, which came at a strike rate of 117, averaging just under 30.
So basically, no difference from the kind of form he was showing
Yeah.
for RR.
Yeah.
That being said, I think it's worked out beautifully for him. He gets to open.
Yes.
Okay, is Mayers, is he a right-hander? Right-handed bat? Kyle Mayers?
left-handed.
Left-handed? Okay,
Mayers
so,
left-handed.
so you're going with 2 left-handed batters,
That's
like what
okay.
happened? Yeah, so
That's okay.
Padikkal.
Because
and-
even if you play QDK, he's also left-handed.
This is a team packed with left handers.
Oh, yeah,
it's
it
a
is,
very
it is.
left hand
because
top heavy
the
side.
next one, Ayush Badoni?
Ayush Badoni.
Badoni at 3.
Yes.
Badoni at 3, and then I think a Deepak
4.
Hooda comes in.
A Deepak Hooda.
Only
comes
one
in.
of them can play.
Yeah, that's the
If you ask me,
problem.
only one of them can play.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
So,
only one can play.
okay.
I in fact have Pooran at 3. I'll tell
Pooran,
you
I
why.
think, would be
Because
at 4.
Pooran, KL for me is number 4, which is why I had to find ways of putting in or featuring somewhere. Puran, one of the things that you said about Puran all along last year was give him more balls, give him more balls. He showed you good form at times. Play Puran at 3. So I have Puran at 3, and that's how I've been actually able to put together a team that bats till number 8. And number 8 for me is then Naveen.
But then see, you got 3 left-handers. One-dimensional batting in a way.
So that is where I think the presence of KL Rahul, and that's where I feel KL Rahul can be 4 or 5 depending on the
I think
left
he'll
hand,
be
right
5.
hand.
He has to be 5 because 4 again is a position that would still be more top order. He needs to prove he can bat at a tempo suited to a middle order, wherein you come in and you don't have much time. You need to go bang from the word go.
And I think KL Rahul can't do that at 5.
No, he has to do that at 5. There's no other place you can fit him. If you play him at 6, it's suicidal.
Then you have to play him at 4. That is the only way
Then I'm
possible.
getting outvoted.
4.
Here.
I
I'm
have
getting
him at 4
outvoted
as well.
Yeah. So see, it will at least give you 2 left-handers, 2 right-handers. What if one goes, then you can make that flexibility when you look
So
at it.
KL, by the way, you can mark him as both
Actually-
captain and wicket keeper.
We can be a little adventurous over here, and why not have somebody like a Stoinis at 3?
You could, but
Badoni, because remember, and it's not worked well for Badoni. I know last year because he would come in as the impact sub, asked to bat 7, 8 at times,
it was not working
and
out
it
for
was not working. It's ideal that you play Badoni over there.
Your problem is your other 2 options that you're saying in a Deepak Hooda. Even Deepak Hooda had a miserable time in 2023.
Yeah, he's not a guaranteed starter for me in this.
No, it has to be one of them, either Badoni or Hooda.
I would also agree with that, but I am going with Badoni because he might be your dasher that you
See,
need.
Badoni, you've got to play. He's got the numbers.
Yeah.
He scored 210 in the SMAT, striking at 136 and was dismissed just once.
That's the thing.
Was
You
this
would,
was
and,
this
and
once.
Badoni did show glimpses of what he could do last
So
year.
Badoni
also.
will have to play up top because again for Delhi as well, he was batting again 3-4.
And Badoni, I agree. KL is my only problem is that, come on, are you telling me someone who can bat at 4 is guaranteed to succeed at number 6? No. The only thing, and I know Sanju is another one who's put in the same, but Sanju, whatever else said and done, his problem never has been intent. His problem has always been consistency. So I totally trust that he could bat at 6. Do I trust KL batting at 6 if he bats at number 4? I don't.
But
already I am circumspect about this experiment.
But again, if you look at it,
See what happens.
whatever role that you play in the IPL, it's not necessary that you will have the same role in the Indian cricket team
KL
also.
Rahul, if he's
For
moving,
every other batter that is
if
the case.
he's moving from the top order, if he's moving from
To
an
middle,
opener to
yeah.
being, again, he has to be doing something that he's expected to then do for Indian team.
And over there, he has to be batting at 6. Earliest 6.
Because see, that is the thing.
Yeah,
Now this
because
is a
5
catch
according to
22.
me is Hardik.
5 is Rinku.
Or
Rinku can be your
One
finisher.
of them.
Rinku
Rinku can be 7 also, it's fine.
7 also.
Because see, KL, if you bat him at 6 or 7, okay, anywhere, even in LSG or even in India, it's suicidal. It's not working out.
That's why I said 5, because he's batted well at 5 in ODIs. I know different format.
Yeah.
But still, I think I've been outvoted here. So it's
Yeah, so Badoni at 5, okay, then you got 5, you got Stoinis or Puran.
But
Puran.
You have to be giving Puran most balls. I don't know if that video is out. I've done a video based on some of the most, let's say, in form overseas players right now. Puran tops that list.
Yep.
He's got the most number of runs in T20 cricket since December.
Yeah.
And striking it at about 160.
Yep.
Phenomenal numbers this man's got.
Then Puran, then you'll get 6 Stoinis.
Yes.
6 has to be Stoinis.
Stoinis.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, that's
Though I
one-
think Stoinis is batting too
He
deep
is,
over
but
here.
that's the problem when you have with KL batting there now. You've
Yeah.
made this problem, or KL Rahul has made this problem.
Or you
due to his India
can
ambitions.
do one thing. Swap Stoinis to 3, Badoni at 6.
But again, you're playing
But
an
then we are doing
See,
disrespect
it's
to Badoni.
and it's repeating something that you did already last year, which is try Badoni 6, 7, 8, and it was a miserable fail.
Yeah, that's the thing.
See, okay, these 4 positions, and yet again, I come back to something I've been saying for 2 years now. LSG have too many batters who are suited to playing at 3 or 4.
3 or 4, yeah.
Even if you remove a KL,
Yeah.
you're having that same problem with Padikkal,
Yeah.
Badoni, Puran,
We
and
used to
Stoinis.
call it the middle order, muddle
Muddle
order.
Muddle order.
is
The
what I
muddle
call it.
order.
The muddle order.
This
yeah.
is that same problem remains because on paper this is a great side. The problem then is Puran, I feel, should be batting at 4.
Yeah.
Because again, your best batter in T20s right now by a country mile. I'm sorry, if you're a middle order batter striking it at 160, boss, that's god level stuff, man. He's having to bat at number 5 because of KL.
Okay.
Travesty.
Dark horse, okay. Instead of Badoni, would you be tempted to have something
Like
left field?
Krishnappa Gautam.
Oh, I'm saying Arshin.
Arshin would be
Karni.
very left field.
And he's not starting the tournament.
No,
can't.
no.
He's not starting the
He
So,
tournament.
okay, anyway, see, this is again muddle
Another
order.
middle order batter.
Krunal.
Our middle order 7 is Krunal.
Seven is
has to
Krunal.
be.
Krunal Pandya. Okay.
Yeah.
But then you're batting, if you do not want it to end at 7, then what do you do?
No, 8 you got Naveen.
But
Naveen,
Naveen doesn't really bat.
Yeah.
He can give you.
See,
he
I'm
can give you a lusty.
Bishnoi is number 9, okay. Ravi Bishnoi, but Bishnoi is also, he can have some few lusty blows.
No, but Bishnu is not that kind of a batter.
Yeah.
So, listen, if you're looking at pure bowlers right now, see, one good thing they have is that there's all-round options there. You know a Stoinis will bowl. You know Krunal will bowl. Mayers gives you overs. You don't need to. Actually, your number 8 can also be a Krishnappa Gautam.
Can
No.
be KP.
No,
Yes,
no, no,
yes.
But then again, see,
But see, you've got to have a Mavi in your side. Maybe Mavi can be.
Mavi is number
Not a
11.
guarantee.
No, you'll need
Mohsin?
Mohsin.
Mohsin again, he'll be your number 11.
So okay, let's put down the ones we agree on.
Okay.
Mohsin has to be there.
Yeah,
Mohsin
Mohsin
has
will
to
be
be a
there.
number
Mohsin has to
11.
be there. Number 10 has to be a Bishnoi.
Bishnoi.
Because you
Okay.
need your one wrist spinner,
Yes.
there's Bishnoi.
Yes.
Number 9 then has to be Naveen because you need one overseas bowler.
Okay.
Pacer. Okay.
Okay.
The only other option is Shamar Joseph, and I think he's still injured.
I think he's bowling fine. I saw a couple of his videos. I think
Okay.
he's bowling fine.
So it can
But
be
But
Naveen slash
but
Shamar.
It has to be Naveen starting.
I'll
based on
have
roster.
Naveen start.
Yeah,
I'll have
same.
Naveen.
Naveen.
Same. For the start, at least it will be
Yeah.
Naveen. 9 then Naveen. Number 8, again, if this is a batting first 11, do you want it to be finishing at 7? No.
See how many bowlers do they have? Let's count the number of bowlers. And
Ah.
this is a batting 11 we make.
Naveen.
So you've got 4 overs of Naveen, 4 of Bishnoi, 4 of Mohsin. So
That's
that's
12
12 overs
there.
done.
Krunal, you're getting.
Krunal gives you,
2 overs,
let's say,
3
3
overs.
overs. Makes it 15
Yeah.
for you. then.
Stoinis gives you a couple of overs.
Yeah, Mayers gets you 2.
17. So,
Mayers gives you a couple.
yeah, you can take, let's say, 18 over. Then you need somebody to give you 2 overs then.
That is your number 8.
And then Krishnappa Gautam. He does give you some part-time off spin.
See, the thing, I think you're missing a specialist.
No, you are, but this is your batting first
11.
11. No, when you're bowling, because if you're batting first and you're bowling second, you'll sub in a bowler. That's where a Mavi comes in.
I think yes. I think
So
then
that's why
at
Krishnappa
eight-
Gautam you need
8
at
you
8.
can have Krishnappa Gautam. in
He's
that
the
case.
only option.
I had Gautam slash Mavi. Mavi again, I think at some.
Mavi starts.
Mavi starts. So
Mavi starts.
Mavi
As
will
the
then be your
bowling
impact
sub.
sub.
Yes.
This is your batting 11. Shavi becomes then your.
Yeah, so Krishnappa Gautam, this is your 11, but once again, same problem that forever persists with this side.
Muddle order.
Muddle order.
Gautam's also not somebody they've trusted a lot.
No, I agree. That's part of the problem. Also,
Yeah.
FYI, Gautam, his best performances have usually come at 5, 4, 5, 6 for
Six,
Rajasthan
yeah.
Royals. 8 is very low even for him, which once again brings back to the same point. Really, they don't have any proper lower order bat aside from Krunal. Krunal is someone who's made a career out of batting low and
Yeah.
giving you quick fire 20s.
You know, the problem is, if Huda was in good form last year,
Yeah.
you could have included him in this team also. And Huda has not.
He was only giving you single digit scores.
Exactly.
He was woeful last
Plus,
year.
not contributing to the ball also.
Yes.
He was barely bowling.
Exactly. So, that is why we can't include a Deepak Huda.
Yeah,
last-
otherwise, in place of Gautam, I would have had a Huda.
Yeah.
And I would have pushed someone else down. Maybe Badoni. Harsh as it may have been, I would have pushed him down then. But that's what they did last year. Lest we forget, they did it. But I don't think Deepak Huda's returns of last year justify him being a sure shot starter. I could be wrong.
Yeah, because see, correct me if I'm wrong, Shamar Joseph, even in the test matches against Australia, had some contributions, right? Or 20, 25.
Yeah, he could
balls.
hang around there. But again, test batting
Yeah.
versus.
Could be an aggressive bat also. So,
Don't know
I have
his skill
no
sets,
idea
yeah.
but the
Exactly.
problem
I know his
is,
skill sets a
he's
bit.
untested as a death overs bowler,
Yeah.
which Naveen has had 50-50 success.
Yeah, I mean, he's someone who, because you're always looking at someone to hammer, and he has the ability to take the pace off the ball, can be troublesome, gets you wickets.
Yeah.
And in that,
So, let us look at who it is. Okay, Naveen is your one pacer along with Mohsin. Okay,
Yeah.
Mohsin left-hander, Naveen is a right-hander.
In fact, in the power play, you'll use Mohsin a little bit and Mayers.
Yeah, you'll use them.
You'll have to
Mohsin will be your death overs along with
Stoinis.
Naveen.
I remember sometimes they would get Stoinis to bowl early on also.
Yeah.
Get a little bit of that dibbly-dobbly movement which he can. So you have options. They do have options.
Yeah.
And again, don't forget, this is a batting first 11, which means you could bring in a Mavi.
You could bring in
You bring in a Mavi in place of, I don't know, Badoni.
Badoni, yeah.
he's the designated super sub, let's say, either
Correct.
going. going in or coming.
So super sub when it comes to the bowling,
Going out.
you make it as Shivam Mavi.
Then, yeah, and if you're bowling first, then you have Mavi playing and you bring in a Gautam. Same swaps really, so it doesn't really matter. You don't need two, just one. You don't need both. So ideally you only need Mavi as your sub. Because this by making a batting 11.
Yep.
So from the batting 11, then you're bringing in a bowler. Mavi is the best option. See,
Exactly.
again, this is a good, great team on paper. Great team. Because again, you're looking at it, you got a Stoinis, you got a Mayers, you got a Puran, a KL. That's great. Middle order will be their biggest concern yet again. They don't have a lower order.
Plus, if you look at the barring Bishnoi, the rest of the bowling seems very inexperienced.
Yeah, it is. That
It is.
And Mohsin's coming again from no
Another
experience, injury, lot of rehab.
Plus, he did bowl one good over in the last game, which helped LSG win, by the way. Let us be very
That
honest
was
about
last
it.
year. How much has he been playing domestic cricket?
Yeah.
That's the problem. Mohsin, unfortunately, if you look at it, you can all just have it. I'll just do a quick cross check if you can.
I'll see.
Yeah, just see it because see,
Let's see. If
you will have to play in a Mohsin. That is the problem because if you look at the rest of the batting and the bowling, if you look at it, Yash Thakur can be persistent because remember Yash Thakur,
Yudhvir was another one. Right?
Yudhvir Charak was there in the power play at the very
Yash
beginning.
Thakur, if I'm not wrong, did well in the Ranji as well.
Yash Thakur for Vidarbha, he was bowling very well in the Ranji
he was.
and also he did bowl well for LSG on some occasions in the death overs.
So you do have that option aside
So
from
Mavi or a Yash Thakur,
Yeah.
if you have to look
if you're
at
looking
it.
at another option for sub, yes.
That's
But
the thing.
Again, see, that's the thing. Their bowling does lack a little bit of experience. Although, when you consider the fact that their other option, their most experienced bowler, Indian bowler previously was Avesh.
Yeah, Avesh
not
got
really
traded
much
to
of a
RR. That's the thing. Can we just have a look at the squad 1 minute before we get to something? Just have a
Yeah,
look.
just quickly.
So,
take a
okay,
look
since
at-
we did mention about Mohsin, yes, he did play in the SMAT, 5 matches for him, gave away 114 runs.
Okay.
And
economy wicket.
one second.
So we are not having Amit Mishra. Mishra is a
Mishra could be another,
again sub.
yeah, maybe an impact player on a particularly slow deck, which by the
Yeah.
way Lucknow is.
But Lucknow, I think it's changed at that
They
point in
related for
time.
the World
Yeah. So Mavi can be one. And remember, David Willey, if he was there, he could have been your in place of Naveen. He could have added the bowling and the batting depth also.
Yeah, Willie would have been an interesting choice.
5 matches, just 11 wickets.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's
man.
good.
That's nearly.
But what's the
And
economy?
Economy is good, 5.84.
So Mohsin has actually been in very good form.
Very good form.
And I remember Mohsin was someone who was troubling everyone in both years he played. Last year I remember he made a comeback after a life-threatening injury.
Yeah, arm injury that
Yeah,
is stated.
could have,
Yep,
he
yep.
very nearly had his arm amputated.
Yeah.
And from there to come back, bowl as well as he did, I think Mohsin has to be starting. If
Yeah.
you're looking at the
He will.
Indian pacers, he has to. There is no one else who comes close.
Because see, Shivam Mavi will be a sub. We don't know much about Mayank Yadav. Prerak Bankad, again, the same middle order. So he's an anchor. He can't start at this point in time. So, looking at it, KP, Krishnappa Gautam will have to be your number 8 at
Or
this
if
point.
not
in
him, then you'll put a Deepak Huda and play around with that. But again, same problem.
But again, Huda at 8.
No, not at 8. I'm saying
Ah.
you then have to switch around your batting.
Switch around
order.
your batting, and in that case, then you'll have to have KL at 5, then somebody like a Stoinis at 6, and then Pandya at 7. And
You know, the problem with LSG is it's been all self-destructed because of KL Rahul's move.
It's made worse.
It's made worse. I mean,
Already, if you're looking at their auction, I always said that in the first auction, they targeted too many middle order batters.
Yeah.
Far too many. Again, ideally, a number 4, remember, Huda had a very good year at number 4 in 2022.
Yeah.
This is before they even had a Nicholas Puran. He had a very good number 4. Stoinis at 5, we used to sometimes say, no, you need to be sending him up higher. Same you could say about a Badoni, who was also very good in 2022.
Yeah.
But then both of their form fell off a cliff. You tried promoting everyone else. Really, the only one who worked out. Stoinis also was hit or miss last year. Puran, their most dependable middle order bat, and his form is still continuing strong. Yet, in our 11, we put him at number 5.
Yeah.
Travesty. Travesty.
what to do? Because that is the situation. See, if Rahul was opening, there would have been no problem
Oh,
whatsoever.
there have still been problems.
see, the opening problem I would say is still sorted with Devdutt Padikkal.
Ah.
You can look at that, let's say, with some sort of an optimism. But when you look at KL Rahul in the middle order and how everything around that middle order then because of him changes, that's where the skepticism sort of creeps in. I think the top order change, let's say, is not still a big worry. The fact that so much changes in the middle order because of that swap, that's where the problem is.
Will LSG...
The whole batting order is going
Yeah.
up and down as a result.
Can LSG afford to play 3 foreigners and get in the impact player as a foreigner?
They could.
But
Who do you drop? That is the
you
thing.
will again have to have a middle order batter.
No, exactly. Because then, who
Maybe
are the
a Kul
players?
Karni.
Who are the players who you will be bringing in? You'll have to bring in either a Naveen. If you're batting first, then bring in a bowler, either a Naveen or a Shamar.
Yeah.
Those are your only options, which means bringing one of them in and accommodating another Indian or batter.
Because see,
Right?
if you don't want to play with both Mayers and QDK, I mean, Mayers is there as an opener and he was very good last year also.
Yes.
Then Arshin might come in. He's an opener, by the way. Arshin Kulkarni is an opener. Arshin and Devdutt, but the problem is inexperience.
Yeah.
Not too much of it.
Wasn't
Then-
Arshin playing the World Cup this year?
Yeah, he did play this year.
No way he's starting.
I mean, he can have a luck like Yash Dhul. Yash Dhul started for Delhi in
Then got demoted.
then got demoted, unfortunately. So there is one way that you can avoid the middle order and pack them with power hitters in that sense. So if I open with suppose I open with Padikkal and Arshin, then Stoinis can be at 3, Badoni can come in, and Puran is at 5. That way you can actually shuffle the thing
the
around.
same problem. The same problem is that there's one too many. Again, KL, if you're playing in middle order, is best at 3-4.
Yeah.
So is Puran. So is Stoinis. It's the same problem. Not to say they don't have the quality, because again, if you have these many top-notch players,
Yeah.
one or two of them on any given day will give you a good knock.
Yep.
Okay, that's one advantage they have. But otherwise, I start to see, now I remember also why it is I used to say that this team don't look like anything more than an eliminator team.
Yeah.
Great on paper, but one too many, there's not enough balance. This balance really lacks. Like one thing I realized with a lot of other teams, like with CSK I noticed it, with GT also I noticed it, with MI I noticed it, the balance is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. You know you can look and instantly just make that one change and you're like, sorted. With LSD I keep wondering, I'm like, there's too many number 4s. There's too many number 4s.
Yep, there is. So, before we take the comments, let's just look at the 11 that we have all agreed upon. Okay.
Yes, by some difficulty.
Yeah. So, we all agree with Kyle Mayers.
Yeah.
Okay. We all agree with Devdutt
I
Padikkal.
had QDK, but yeah, I got outvoted.
Yeah. Padikkal, we all agree.
Particles there, yeah.
Same with Badoni.
Badoni, you are not so keen.
No, I was okay. I was okay with Badoni.
Badoni, yeah. I think the only one we had a problem with was Huda, and we all outvoted him anyway.
Yeah.
But again, I maintain that it's Huda / Badoni. Badoni starts for me ahead of a Huda because he did well in SMAT.
Yeah, and Huda's form last IPL was woeful.
Yeah. Then KL, we disagreed upon the position.
Yeah, because I said 5.
I said 4 because then there is
I'm
no
looking
other
at
way.
again the whole balance. I think you move KL to 5. The balance, and you won't as a result be able to get the best out of a Puran and a Stoinis as a result.
Exactly. So that is why. Number 5, Nicholas Puran can be your backup keeper also.
Exactly.
Can be. Because if you are not playing QDK in the entire thing, then...
Yeah, that's one thing. And also, what if, God forbid, KL ends up starting to feel his quad or whatever in the middle,
again.
you do at least have another keeping option in Puran.
Will Stoinis bowl though?
He will. He has to.
He will have to, but...
Otherwise, he doesn't justify his place in that 11.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He needs to give them a couple of overs.
But remember, he's not bowled that much in the IPL in the last couple of years.
Yeah,
if you
that's
look at
because
it.
he was getting tonked, but he still needs to bowl.
I mean, yeah, he did help you win one game against KKR in that Eliminator clash. No, I think it was last league game, 2022.
Yeah, last league game, every
When
year we come
Rinku-
up against this bleep team, and every year you end up losing.
Yeah, then you've got a Krunal who will, I think, bat well in that 7 number position and also give you good overs of left arm spin.
Yeah, because
also.
he's the only one actually who's actually.
Krunal also had a decent SMAT, by the way.
Yeah, and he more often than not captains his domestic team.
But the problem again with Krunal being I don't think he plays that low. He doesn't play 7, and even I think he was playing 5 and had a strike rate of over 130. Now
that's fine.
Somebody batting at 7, you please expect a strike rate of over 45-50.
Fair, but even for MI, he would never come in before 6.
He was 7.
Yeah.
He was always 6, 7.
And
best.
his form, let's be honest, he's not the Krunal Pandya of the past. Let's say his past have also dwindled.
Exactly.
But that's how it is.
Then you've got KP, Krishnappa Gautam, and well, let's see, because he will give you some overs of off spin, but he's also a very good power hitter at the death.
Oh yeah, he is.
And let's see, then you've got Naveen ul Haq also. Because see, this is going to be a new dispensation taking over. This is the first year of Justin Langer and his entire, now how will they operate as compared to a Gautam Gambhir or an Andy Flower? That will remain to be seen. Will Naveen have that same kind of backing that we don't know, but he starts according to us.
He starts.
See, given the kind of surfaces that we saw in Lucknow last year, if it's the same surfaces which didn't actually suit the batters. I remember QDK Puran were averaging just about 15-17 at home. Strike rates were also around 105, 107.
But
so their own pitches weren't good for the batters, but for somebody like a Naveen who likes to take his pace on the ball, was a sluggish wicket. If it's the same wicket, good, let's say for a Naveen. Maybe Bishnoi can also really prosper in such conditions, but the batters will struggle.
But the pitch has changed.
That's
you saw in the World
That's
Cup, barring the one game against India versus England, but the rest of the games were pretty good.
And also, England was coming towards the fag end of the tournament.
Yeah, so that's why. Then Bishnoi will have to start.
He's your first choice spinner, and same with Mohsin, your first choice pacer.
Yeah, he has to start. Although we may say it may be Mohsin / Mavi.
Mavi comes in as an
impact sub. Yeah.
Starter, it has to be Mohsin.
Yep.
Okay, and remember, this is the same Mavi who GT spent a lot of money on last year. Didn't give him a single game.
That's
Mavi again can come in at any point. He can again. Badoni is going to be the guy. That's what we saw last year, game in, game out. He would be the one either coming in or going out as the impact sub. So yeah.
Sawal?
Yep. Let's take the Sawal in that particular sense. Okay.
Prithvi Patnaik, Bhaman is back. It's been a long time
long
since
time,
we've seen you. If it's true that Sky will be out of the World Cup, then it's my sincere request to Team India to withdraw from the World Cup in order to avoid an embarrassment and thrashing.
Firstly, it is not true.
Yeah, there's no way he's missing.
I don't know
the
which
World Cup.
reports.
See, 21st, which is tomorrow, you're going to have yet another fitness test on Suryakumar Yadav. We'll come to know at that time whether he will be available for the first few weeks of the IPL.
The first game he's already been ruled out of because he's not going to have enough practice.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Whether
so
the
second
game, which is I think on the 27th against SRH in Hyderabad. By the way, Mumbai, one of those few teams that play the first two games both away from home. There's no home game to begin with in the first couple of games. But anyhow, that's besides the point. Whether he can be available for the second game, which is on the 27th, that gets determined in many ways tomorrow, depending on whether he gets the clearance from the NC or not.
Yeah. So, and he also said, why we have to withdraw from the IPL, from the World T20 World Cup here? Come on. I mean, you can still do well without a Suryakumar Yadav. You can only pray.
But he's not missing the World Cup.
He is not missing the World Cup. So, Bharat Build is like telling me, like, Mayank Yadav had bowled the fastest delivery in the Syed Mushtaq Ali this season. We have to check on that. There are too many things
also, even if he did, doesn't mean he's starting every game.
He can't start every game. And then Sarat Chandra is saying, why can't franchisees show their power and tell Rahul to play as an opener? A franchisee will look for its growth first, right? You are doing khichdi for sure. I mean,
I wholeheartedly agree because again, I'm very surprised. I can understand Rahul wanting to bat at 5 and wanting to, keep wickets. Why will the franchise, and by the way, this is the same franchise owner who fired an MS Dhoni.
Exactly.
There are no nonsense franchise, by the way, in that regard. It would have taken some amount of convincing. There's something we don't know what's happened behind the scenes here, that they agreed for this whole khichdi.
I really don't understand. I mean, a player wants, but the player doesn't tell that, through my franchisee I'm going to tell. Doesn't the franchisee want to win?
Exactly. And the franchises exist solely to win. Contrary to popular belief, they don't exist for the service of Indian cricket. Their whole point is to win. These are corporates splashing a lot of cash and they want to be winning these tournaments. So, I don't know. I'm very surprised if it does happen, and every sign is indicating that it will
happen.
Harshit Reddy says that last year Stoinis is batting at 4, Puran was switching between 5 and 6 and both scored 400 plus runs. Badoni may bat at 6. Good point, Harshit, could happen, but the one problem is that Badoni last year batting lower down the order.
Didn't give you any.
And Harshit Reddy, one more thing. This time you don't have a KL Rahul conundrum because he's batting in the middle order. So that means you can't have that flexibility of, let him be at 4, 5, 6 and all that. Rahul will be batting at number 4 mostly.
I still say 5 and I will come back to this video if I'm proven right. But let's see.
Maybe.
Satish B says, feeling bad for Meg Lanning. She really gave her everything. Yeah, she, I think, could be the least culpable of that entire DC debacle.
I know, I mean, but still it doesn't dull her contributions here. She's one of, and by the way, Elise Perry, I mean, with this WPL win, she's completed the set, whatever you want in cricket. Won the Women's T20 World Cup, won the Women's ODI World Cup, has won the BBL, the Women's Big Bash League so many times, has been named Australia Women's Cricketer of the Year, Women's Cricketer of the Decade so many times. If you look at 2 decades, she's been in Australian cricket. And she's still going strong. Now she's done the WPL also. Wow, what more?
Plays great football as well.
Yep, indeed. She's in the Matildas, if I'm not mistaken, right?
He used to, not anymore.
Not anymore, yeah.
GGK clearly being sarcastic, saying KL always had great impact. Only KL Rahul can stop us from winning the World Cup 2024.
Come on, yeah, GGK. You and several other guys give unnecessary hate to KL Rahul.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but he opens himself up to it also, doing ridiculous things like dropping himself down the order.
Well, that is a thing that he believes might work.
Yeah, I also can believe that, the sun is not the center of the universe. Doesn't make it correct.
Okay, what if, just let us just say that, okay, KL Rahul, if it works for him.
If it works for him and he gets called up to the team, then he'll go and lose India the game and again.
Too many ifs over there for me.
Far too many ifs.
Yeah, that's the thing. So that's
Far
why.
too many ifs. Let's see.
Okay, what was the other? KK. You can't compare last year's form with recent form. See, Huda domestic this year. Mayers, Padikal, Huda, Puran, KL, Stoinis, Krunal, Badoni, Bishnoi, Mohsin, Mavi. Sub is Amit Mishra due to Lucknow pitch.
Yeah, but I think that Lucknow pitch has changed. Now.
Yeah, KK. That's the thing.
I think it's been relayed. Obviously, it got relayed by the ICC. They had a good big role in that because they were not very happy with the surface, how it played in the IPL last year. So I don't think it's going to be that same.
But both Badoni and Huda in his 11, I'm not too sure of that 11.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's far too much batting.
Batting.
It has to be either Badoni
and
or
no Naveen.
Huda.
You have to have Naveen. Naveen's a definite starter.
Yeah.
You have to have.
Because you need one pacer from that lineup. Yeah. It has to be either him, Shamar, whoever. Someone has to be. Yes.
Okay, so Sarachandra Alamarthi is asking, Quena Mfaka is with MI. Is he coming from Madhushankar? Well, he's talking about that under 19 left arm pacer who did very well.
Mfaka, he was part of the
But we
South
don't
Africa
know
side.
yet.
No, until we get a confirmation, there's no point anyway,
Yeah, that's the thing. Naman Kanpal, with KL Rahul's decision to bat in the middle, will this ensure that he's released for big auction next season? Very much dependent on this season.
That's an interesting point.
You never know if he's really put everything at stake for this. He may just have, you never know.
Yep.
There has to be some sort of a trade-off over here, like I said, which we don't know of right now. Who knows if he's really put his captaincy and his future with the franchise at stake for this?
Maybe an all or nothing situation for KL Rahul. Could be. See, because now as far as Arun Dhumal's confirmations come, he's the IPL Governing Council chairman. 3 guys can be retained, 1 foreigner.
Boo.
Okay. So that is.
Sorry, I hate the concept of the mega auction. No?
Yeah,
makes no sense. If you want to be encouraging team building, scrap this mega auction, get a draft system or get longer contracts. What is this nonsense of 3-year contracts?
Yeah, that's the thing. But now this is the way it's going to be in 2025. We'll come to know in December mostly what is the current situation, because normally the mega auction will happen around 2 days in December.
Oh, it happens 3 days. Mega auction is 3-day affair.
It's a 3-day affair. Last year wasn't a 2-day.
No,
I mean,
last
the last mega auction 2022.
No, it was
Can't remember it being a
3-day affair.
3-day affair.
I thought it was 2 days.
It was 3 days because one day you had all of the marquee names. Then next day it was slightly lower packings, and then afterwards you had a lot of recycling also because I think franchises have to complete a squad. You're only retaining 4 players.
Yep.
So if I recall correctly, it was a 3-day affair. And it was long. It was long.
I mean, obviously it was wrong. Very, very long.
No, it was wrong also.
It was wrong in a way. Yeah, I mean, it took me time to understand what was the concept. I mean, you can pick only these many players, but their prices would be, okay, one gets picked for 16, the other will only get for 12. Understanding the economics
retentions, again, different price tags.
That was the problem. That was the problem. So, any other further... is LSG, Piyush Nandre, is LSG next RCB, DC and KXIP?
Oh, Piyush, too early to tell.
Too early, yeah.
Too early.
They had the kind of start to the IPL
that
Delhi did. First 2 years they were good.
But then...
and then weren't in the scene anymore after that for good 6, 7, 8 years.
I mean, see, you did come into the playoffs in 2019 and 2020.
That was again after an 8-year run, na?
But you changed the side name, isn't it? From Daredevils you went to Capitals. Yeah, so
that worked the first year and the second year, but after that it stopped.
Okay, International 3191 from the US saying, should IPL allow 5 foreigners in the 11 to improve quality? Look, Mumbai Indians did that in the Champions League in 2011 and they managed to win the trophy. You are seriously telling me Mumbai Indians, of all the franchisees in the world, Mumbai Indians didn't have local players so that they could get 5 foreigners in the team? They had 5 foreigners in the team.
And is quality of the IPL really in question right now? I
It's
think
not,
the
but
quality
I
is
think
good.
eventually you'll reach a point where I think the relaxation on this number can happen.
It
Eventually.
will happen when you're looking at, let's say from 10 teams, you're looking at 12, 14 teams. When that happens, because you need more players, a bigger pool, that's when I think it could happen.
The problem is, if you get 5 foreigners in your 11, you're already pinching the talent supply pool that is there in the Indian cricket setup at this
The
point.
talent supply pool is enormous.
That's why if you get 5, you already got 4 foreigners. With 7 Indians, we ourselves are not able to
But
figure
overall,
out.
that's what I'm saying. It will happen when you have more teams, let's say, because
Yeah.
you don't have, again, what's the biggest criticisms right now, and so many of the players that we've talked about while we've been trying to build the 11 for all 10 teams. Where are those fast bowlers? Where is this? You don't have that many fast bowlers also that, okay, with the same policy, you can go ahead and have 4 more teams in the next couple of years. At some point, you know that the IPL will get bigger.
You know, correct me if I am wrong, okay? I mean, I'll quote the football analogy here, okay? The Premier League, and if you want to look at it, okay? If you have more teams, okay? If you get selected in the national side for the World Cup, okay? What is the composition that, the bottom 4 teams or the bottom 10 teams get a bigger representation in the national squad than the top 10 teams?
Nothing like that.
There's nothing like that.
Nothing like
My
that.
point, the thing is that if you're using a football analogy, more often than not, the only reason teams prefer going local is because it's actually cheaper, right? If you're developing players or getting in domestic players, not the big stars, then it's cheaper. But there have to be other incentives beyond that. Like in England, for example, the Premier League, there is a rule that you have to have that you can have in the 25 player squad. You can only have 8 players who are not homegrown.
Yeah.
Okay. So in essence, if you want to fill out your 25 with players above the age of 21, you need to have 17 players who count as homegrown. Okay. So your squad composition predominantly is that. Yeah, you might not actually, you're playing 11. There's no restrictions. But your squad. So what happens more often than not is because of the squad, you'll see more and more domestic players get minutes. Yeah. Of course, you have to also remember that a sport like football very different to a sport like cricket, whereby in football now you have 5 substitutions. So it's easier to give players minutes also. Cricket a little different. So I think as of now, International 3191, I don't think you're making that. Eventually, I think you're going to be seeing a relaxation on that. Eventually,
yeah, more teams, but then again, more teams. How does it solve the problem in Indian cricket? I don't know at this point. But
no,
let's
there's
see.
no problem in Indian cricket, none whatsoever.
And there never was a problem.
No.
Yeah, let's go to last.
I think that we can take one more question,
and then
call
we
it.
can call it a day, and we'll be
Working
into
on this
IPL action then at this point.
See, Piyush Tandre says already many teams will play 3 foreigners. MI will play 3 foreigners only. No, Piyush, that also is because of the impact rule. This thing, that you can only sub in a player, a foreign player, because you can bring in. Like I remember last year CSK were doing it a lot.
Yeah,
They were starting with 3, and
they had
even
Patirana
GT
coming in. Yeah,
even GT, I remember they used to sub in Josh Little.
yeah.
So they do have that option if you want to go it, but I think eventually you will see relaxation.
Eventually, in fact, you will see this. I think eventually you will see the impact sub also being scrapped.
See, if you talk about 5 foreigners in the WPL, you had that option in the WPL.
Yeah, but that was also because the domestic talent pool for women's cricket far less. Also,
actually, no.
Yeah, the Associate Nation rule.
Yes, you rewarded
to play 5.
Yeah. You actually rewarded a team if you picked a player from the less developing of the nations.
But also, how many teams used that option? Only one.
Only one. That was Delhi Capitals.
Yes.
Tara Norris from the US.
Yes.
But actually, 3 teams missed that trick. They didn't know the trick. That is why. Lack of rule awareness. Only DC exploited it. Gujarat Giants were using it. The other 3 didn't know about it only.
That's on them. But now see, is that a rule that's going to be coming about in the men's game? I highly doubt.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I think eventually you'll see that relaxation.
Exactly. So
we can call it.
We can call it a quits, and our 10-team build-up for IPL 2024 is done. Tomorrow we will
Preview day.
Tomorrow's all sorts of preview days. Remember, tomorrow you will get to see, who are predictions for stuff like orange cap, purple cap.
Oh yeah,
all of that coming your way. So
exactly.
Tomorrow is prediction day as far as the IPL is concerned. Then Friday, it's another year, another edition of the circus.
Yep.
Third IPL, by the way, for Siddharth and me in this particular edition.
I know.
How the time flies.
Time really flies, and yes, it has been. It's going to be massive because this is the first time that we all will be having an IPL followed by a World T20 here. Isn't it? That was the last time this happened. It was in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. 16, I think it finished. After that, the IPL came.
Yeah, it was before the IPL.
Yeah, it was before. So 2010, it's all 2010 vibes all over again. So tomorrow we'll be back with the preview for the Kaveri Derby.
We'll be back with the previews.
Previews.
Everything.
Exactly. So who are our top 4 teams going to
Top
be?
4 championship winners.
Purple
orange
cap, orange cap.
emerging youngster, you name it. All will be done.
Of course. So from me, Shane and Harshad, it's bye-bye. We'll be bringing you more videos as we go on. Take care.